going on, everybody? I go by the name of Kari, and I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish. Today we're taking a look at an Air Jordan 3 that yet again gives us vintage vibes. It's giving us old school vibes, and it's giving us a comparison with a sneaker that, in my opinion, doesn't deserve a comparison. Without further ado, let's get into it. Boom. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Air Jordan 3 Muslin. You know what's wild about this sneaker? First of all, the fact that nobody realized that it was going to be canvas when the name of the sneaker is literally the material on the top of the shoe. But I understand not everybody digs into sneakers like that, and that's why you're here today, so that we can go through the sneaker. I can tell you a little bit about this material, and then of course we're going to talk about the ridiculous comparisons with the Jumpman Year 3. Let's dive in. All right, starting with the upper here, as I mentioned, this has a muslin upper, and muslin is a material that we'll talk about a little bit later. But in short, the material is this very neutral colored, strong canvas-like material wrapped around the entire upper of the sneaker. It makes the sneaker look vintage, makes the sneaker look good. However, it does make the sneaker very susceptible to getting filthy. I'm almost afraid of even touching this sneaker because if you guys understand canvas, you guys know that canvas is very easy to get dirty, extremely tough to clean. Now, accenting that muslin on the upper are the cement gray suede panels here where the elephant print used to go. The elephant print has been replaced this time with the cement gray. Of course, we'll get on that more in a second. Taking a top down look at the shoe here, this is giving me white cement 3s, but make them 30 years old. Vintage look on the toe box and of course on the muslin upper, but you also get the hits of the red eyelids down here at the bottom of the laces here, of course paying homage, according to the sneakers app, to the old school Air Jordan 3s as well. So you get those little hits of that there. Moving up to the tongue, you also get the classic red stitched Jumpman on the front of the tongue, red on the back of the tongue, again giving me white cement 3 vibes, but on the inner lining, on the sock liner of this shoe, they're giving us gray this time. Two sets of laces we're gonna get with these. You get those classic kind of muslin neutral colored laces that go in the shoe. You also get a set of gray laces if you want to swap those out. Personally, I'd probably keep it with the muslin colored laces here, the canvas colored laces. I don't know, man. The gray is nice. I think it pops really well, but I'm gonna tell you, the red laces are really where it's at. Yet again, we have another sneaker that didn't come with a pair of red laces. I don't know why these in particular didn't come with red laces. They really should have. Jordan Brand kind of missed the mark on this one. These should have came with red laces because everybody that I've seen put red laces in the sneaker looks really nice. Moving around to the heel of the shoe, aged looking heel tab on the shoe here. No Nike Air. We get Jumpman with the Air underneath it. Take it or leave it. Aged looking sail colored midsole on the shoe. On the outsole of the shoe, you get the same hits of that gray with that red on the outsole, of course, with the classic red old school Jordan logo as well. And that brings us to the insole of the shoe, which is more than meets the eye. On the front of the insole, of course, you have that university red colored insole with the white Jumpman on the heel. But on the back of the insole, this actually looks like Nike Grind. This actually looks like it was a recycled insole material that they used to make the insole on this shoe, and that's very interesting. I want to talk about that a little bit as well. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the Air Jordan 3 Muslin. Now, here's the thing about this shoe. This sneaker actually has some very interesting history behind it. Not the inspiration of the sneaker itself, which I think honestly is kind of stupid, but the fact that the material actually has quite an interesting history. I want to dig into that a little bit. Then we're going to talk about the obvious comparisons to the Jumpman Year 3. Then we're going to end off on a note that might get a little spicy. So what in the world is muslin in the first place? Muslin is a material that actually dates all the way back to the 17th century. It actually gets its name from a city called Mosul, which is in Iraq. But muslin itself is just another plant-based fiber. It's made from the cotton plant, but it's not the same thing as cotton. It's different. Muslin also comes in a bunch of different weights. Muslin can be either very thin or it can be very coarse. Now, not to be confused with canvas. Just so you guys know, muslin and canvas are actually two different things. Think about the patchwork 3s. The patchwork 3s, if you feel those, actually feel a little bit thicker, a little bit more sturdy than the muslins. If you run your finger across the muslin, it's gonna feel just a little bit thinner than those patchwork 3s, and that's because these are not the same materials. But the funny thing about muslin as it pertains to fashion, and the fact that it's really funny that they chose muslin as the primary material for this sneaker, is that the way that it's used in fashion is actually for test garments, not for actual product. Kari, what is a test garment? A test garment is actually something that they create, something that a fashion house will create to test the fit of a garment or how something's going to look. And they use very cheap, very inexpensive materials like muslin in order to basically craft out the blueprint of how a garment is going to look before they start cutting the more expensive leathers or silks or whatever other materials that they're going to use to make the final product. So muslin is actually used to create the blueprint because it's sturdy, it's durable, and it's super, super cheap. But we would never know the difference because we're getting charged the same $200 regardless of if the sneaker is made out of nice leather, cheap leather, synthetic leather, or really cheap muslin. Bravo to Nike on that, because they figured out a way that no matter what they make a sneaker out of, even if it's very cheap material that's very easy and cheap to source, we still get hit with that same $200 price tag. Can't knock the hustle. So the sneakers app, once again, was wrong because they actually said that this was a heavy-duty canvas upper and strong cement gray suede to welcome everyday challenges with rugged style. Now, here's the funnier thing about the story behind this shoe. It says, Michael Jordan won 6 championships delivered in heroic fashion, where epitomized by toughness, strength, and physical fortitude. So basically, they're saying that the muslin and the strong canvas upper of this sneaker represents how strong Michael Jordan was throughout winning those 6 championships. And while I hear ya, that's kind of a bad story. I mean, honestly, it's a bit of a stretch to sell a sneaker in my opinion. But even with that, sneakers app, are these muslin or are these canvas? Which one is it? Didn't we just do this with the sneakers app where we had to call them out for getting something wrong on the app? And now again, here we are with them calling the muslin sneaker a canvas upper. Now again, unless you're like a super nerd about sneakers and materials and stuff like that, you're probably not gonna care. Probably the majority of you guys watching this only care about what the sneaker looks like. And I'm gonna tell you like this, I actually think that despite everything that I just said, the sneaker actually looks really, really good. Like, it's a clean shoe, especially for the springtime coming up. You pop some nice laces in these or even keep them like it is. These are gonna look really, really dope with wearing those light colored fabrics or even some of those colors that you see pop out during the springtime. These are a great shoe, in my opinion. That being said, these are not the Ama Manier 3s. These are not the Off-White 4s. These are not anything related to any other cream colored sneaker that Nike and Jordan brand have come out with that I see so many YouTubers and people on the internet comparing because they want clicks and likes. So they use popular names like Off-White, Virgil, may he rest in peace, Travis Scott, and all these other names that people use to compare a sneaker to another sneaker. And I keep saying this until I'm blue in the face. Can we please stop comparing sneakers to other sneakers out here? Like, this is the Muslin Jordan 3 and nothing else. I understand that people saw the resemblance to the Manier 3s, and let's just call it a buck, is because the shoe looks aged and because of the gray panels where the elephant print used to be, the gray suede, and I got that. But even the gray suede in itself have 2 different meanings. They're not even the same meaning. On the Ama Manier 3, James Whitner explained that that was a different decision as far as design than the reason why they did it on this sneaker. Now, did they take inspiration from it? I don't know. I guess you'd have to talk to one of the people at Nike about it. Does it look similar? I don't know, maybe, but in my opinion, no, not really. I really don't get Ama Manier 3 outside of the panels here where the elephant print got replaced, but the rest of the sneaker, totally different materials, totally different look, totally different colors. I get it's a 3, but outside of that, it doesn't really look the same to me. I don't know, if you guys feel like they remind you of the poor man's Ama Manier 3, sound off down in the comments. If you don't feel like they remind you of that, sound off down in the comments. I'd like to hear about that. But that brings me to my final point about these sneakers. I feel like Nike kind of played us with these. And the reason why I say that is because I understand, like I said a minute ago, I get the pricing. We can't knock the hustle, but these shouldn't have been as much money as they were. Like, as big of a company as Nike is, sourcing muslin for this sneaker, which I'm sure didn't cost them a ton of money. This was a limited run, so there's a little bit of hype there around the fact that these were a bit limited. But honestly, like, it's muslin. It's not an expensive material here. The molds and the soles of the shoe are already made, so there's really not much cost associated with that. These sneakers easily could have been $50 cheaper than they were, but I understand there's a set price point now when it comes to Air Jordan retro models, and no matter how much it costs the company to produce the shoe, we're still gonna get hit with the same price tag. And it is what it is, but I don't know, it's just a little bit disappointing that having what seems to be Nike grind, which is literally just recycled pieces of other Nike products, in addition to muslin material being used on the upper of this sneaker, it seems like Nike saved a ton of money making these shoes, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. In a perfect world, the price of sneakers would be commensurate with how much it costs to produce the sneaker. A sneaker that's cheaper to produce, the price would go down. A sneaker that's more expensive, of course, vice versa. But this isn't a perfect world. This is Nike's world and we just live in it. But like I said, even with all that criticism, it's still a good looking sneaker. I can't deny them that. It's a clean looking shoe, looks good for the spring. It feels nice too. It feels good. The muslin really does feel good. This is a thicker, more sturdy grade of muslin. This isn't one of those super cheap versions of muslin that's super thin, like medical gauze. Just so you guys know, medical gauze is actually the same material as this, but just a lot thinner. So it's a good looking shoe. I'm not mad at it. It's a decent pickup at retail price, if vintage is your thing still. But I know for a lot of you guys, you're kind of getting tired of the vintage thing. We've seen women's vintage green dunks that just dropped, vintage high top dunks that just dropped. Vintage seems to be everywhere these days when it comes to sneakers. And so sound off down below. Let me know if you guys are just burnt out on the vintage thing as a whole these days. So in any event, that's all that I gotta say about these. Now it's time for you guys to sound off. Let me know what you guys think about the Air Jordan 3 muslin. Are these on your must cop list? Were you lucky enough to get your hands on these? I feel like some late shipments are gonna come in. I got lucky. I won these in a local raffle at City Gear here in town. So I don't know. I'm sure that more pairs of these are going to show up. We'll probably see a Jordan Reserve with these. Who knows? But in the meantime, let me know if you guys want to pick these up or if you guys hard pass on these trying to get another pair. And if you want another pair, sound off down below. Let me know what that other pair is that you want. Of course, right down in the comments, make sure that you click on that subscribe button so we can welcome you into the SneakerPhetish family to make sure you don't miss out on any more heat that comes through like these, because I guarantee you I got a lot more heat on the way. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish, taking a look at these with me, unboxing them with me for a couple of minutes. I go by the name of Kari. This is the Air Jordan 3 muslin, and until next time, I'm out.